Welcome to Health Today. We're going to uncover a fascinating yet impactful secret hidden right in your kitchen. One simple choice could silently raise your risk of stroke, especially at night. It sounds dramatic, doesn't it? But for those of us over 60, our blood vessels don't bounce back the way they used to. And the foods we eat, particularly something as seemingly harmless as cheese, can either quietly protect our circulation or push it over the edge. Now, I'm not saying you need to give up cheese forever. What I am saying is this: the type of cheese you eat matters a lot more than most people think. You know, life after 60 often brings new joys and freedoms. Maybe you have more time for hobbies, for family, for those trips you've always dreamed of. But along with that, our bodies naturally go through changes. The blood vessels that were once flexible like a young stream can now become stiffer, less elastic. This is a natural part of aging, and it makes us more vulnerable to even the smallest impacts from our daily diet. Think about Mr. Arthur, for example. At 72, he was very active. He played golf twice a week and always prided himself on his sharp memory. But recently, he started feeling unusually tired in the mornings. Occasionally had slight dizzy spells for no clear reason, and sometimes even forgot simple words in conversation. He just chalked it up to getting older, an unavoidable part of aging. Little did he know the melted cheese sandwich he often had for a late-night snack, or the convenient processed cheese slices on his morning toast, were quietly contributing to those very problems. They were creating constant pressure on his already delicate blood vessel system, especially at night, while he was fast asleep, leading to silent strokes he didn't even realize were happening. This is the story for many Americans over 60. Some of the most common cheeses we enjoy every day are loaded with sodium, unhealthy fats and additives that can stiffen your arteries, spike your blood pressure, and yes, even trigger a stroke while you're fast asleep. When blood vessels lose their elasticity, they become less efficient at regulating blood flow and blood pressure. This is especially concerning at night, when our bodies naturally experience changes in blood pressure. For those with already weakened blood vessel systems, even a small disruption can lead to serious consequences. However, this isn't a gloomy story. Because there's good news, there are 4 gentle, heart-loving cheeses that can actually support your blood vessels. Keep your brain sharp and still satisfy your taste buds. All it takes is a small change, and I'm here to walk you through it. Before we dive into the details, I want to hear from you. What's the one cheese you find yourself reaching for the most? Is it cheddar cream? Cheese mozzarella? Or maybe something else entirely? Just drop a 1 in the comments if you usually eat soft cheeses, or a 0 if you prefer firm ones. Your interaction helps us better understand the needs of our health community. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Health, because when it comes to protecting our hearts and minds after 60, every choice counts. Remember, our goal here isn't to ban or create fear, but to empower you with knowledge and the strength to make smart choices that help you live healthier and more energized lives. Now let's take a closer look at which cheeses could be harming your health and the ones you should be eating daily to keep your blood vessels strong. Let's start with one that's sitting in almost every American fridge. In the previous section, we raised questions about the impact of cheese on our health, especially after age 60. Now let's delve deeper into why those small choices in the kitchen can mean so much. We'll explore the science behind aging blood vessels, how blood pressure works, especially at night, and the inseparable link between our diet and our overall health. Imagine your blood vessel system as a complex network of pipes that transport nutrients and oxygen throughout your body. When we're young, these pipes are very flexible, elastic, and can easily adjust blood flow. They're like a brand new rubber band, stretching and snapping back perfectly. But as we get older, things naturally start to change. An old rubber band gradually loses its elasticity, becoming stiffer and more brittle. The same thing happens to our blood vessels, a process called arterial stiffening. This is an unavoidable part of aging, caused by the accumulation of modified substances like collagen and elastin, which make the artery walls less flexible. When arteries are stiffer, they can't expand or contract effectively to respond to changes in blood flow, leading to greater pressure on the circulatory system. This is like trying to pump water through a rigid pipe instead of a flexible hose. The pressure inside will increase significantly. Another major concern is atherosclerosis, which is the buildup of plaque in your arteries. This is a condition where plaque, primarily made of cholesterol fats, calcium, and other substances in your blood, accumulates inside the artery walls. Think of this plaque like sediment building up in your home's water pipes. Initially, it might be small and not cause many problems, but over time it can grow larger, narrowing the artery lumen and reducing blood flow to vital organs, including your heart and brain. Sometimes a plaque can even rupture, forming a blood clot that completely blocks blood flow, causing a stroke or heart attack. And finally, we need to talk about endothelial dysfunction. The endothelium is the thin, smooth layer of cells that lines the inside of all our blood vessels. It plays a crucial role in regulating blood flow, controlling blood pressure, and preventing blood clots. When the endothelium is damaged due to inflammation, high blood pressure, bad cholesterol, high blood sugar, it can't produce enough nitric oxide, a chemical that helps dilate blood vessels and keep them flexible. When endothelial function declines, your blood vessels can't operate optimally, making you more susceptible to high blood pressure and atherosclerosis. In summary, after 60, our blood vessel system faces many challenges. They become stiffer, have a higher risk of plaque buildup, and their inner lining function deteriorates. These changes significantly increase the risk of cardiovascular disease and stroke. Blood pressure is the force of blood pushing against the walls of your arteries as your heart beats and rests between beats. We all know high blood pressure is a risk, but what few people realize is that our blood pressure doesn't stay constant for 24 hours a day. Normally, blood pressure naturally drops at night when we sleep. This is called nighttime dipping. This drop allows our cardiovascular system to rest and recover. However, for some individuals, this doesn't happen. Even worse, their blood pressure may not drop enough non-dipping, or may even increase reverse dipping at night. This is nighttime hypertension, and it's particularly dangerous. Nighttime hypertension is often linked to underlying health issues like sleep apnea, kidney disease, or autonomic nervous system disorders. When blood pressure remains high for many hours while you sleep, it puts continuous pressure and strain on your heart and blood vessels, significantly increasing the risk of arterial damage and consequently the risk of stroke. Why are nighttime strokes so dangerous? Strokes that occur at night are often referred to as silent strokes or sleep strokes. They are extremely dangerous because they have no obvious symptoms. Unlike acute strokes that often cause sudden numbness, slurred speech or facial drooping, silent strokes may not manifest any noticeable symptoms while they are happening. You might not feel anything at all as it occurs. Due to the lack of clear symptoms, they are often discovered incidentally during an MRI scan of the brain for another reason, or when accumulated damage gradually begins to cause subtle cognitive memory or motor problems. Each silent stroke, no matter how small, causes permanent damage to brain tissue. Over time, these small damages can accumulate, leading to progressive cognitive decline, memory loss, difficulties with thinking and problem solving, and even increase the risk of Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. Finally, because they occur during sleep, patients cannot recognize them to seek emergency help. The golden hour for stroke treatment is very short, usually within the first few hours, and missing this window can significantly reduce treatment effectiveness and increase the risk of permanent disability. In addition, there are many other risk factors that can increase the likelihood of stroke, and they often interact with each other, multiplying the risk exponentially. Family history, smoking, diabetes, high cholesterol, obesity, physical inactivity, chronic stress. Understanding these factors helps us realize that caring for our cardiovascular and blood vessel health is a holistic effort, and diet plays a central role. The food you put into your body every day is not just a source of energy. It's also a constant stream of chemical signals sent to every cell and organ in your body, including your sophisticated blood vessel system. Sodium salt is a primary factor. When you consume too much sodium, your body retains water to maintain salt concentration balance. This water retention increases the volume of blood in your vessels, like pumping more water into an already full pipe. This increases pressure on your artery walls, leading to high blood pressure. Over time, chronic high blood pressure can cause significant damage to blood vessel walls, making them stiffer and more prone to plaque buildup. For older adults whose blood vessels are already less elastic, this impact is even more severe. Unhealthy fats. Saturated and trans fats contribute to plaque buildup. Saturated fats, often found in red meat, processed foods, and some cheeses, can raise levels of bad LDL cholesterol in your blood. High LDL cholesterol is a key contributor to atherosclerosis. Trans fats, often found in fried foods and fast food, are even worse, as they not only raise LDL but also lower good HDL cholesterol and cause inflammation in the body, accelerating blood vessel damage. Refined sugars are silent inflammation triggers. While cheese isn't a primary source of sugar, when combined with sugar-rich refined carbohydrates, like white bread pastries, it can create a dangerous combo. Sharp spikes and drops in blood sugar can stress your blood vessels. Over time, chronically high blood sugar levels can damage the endothelial lining, cause inflammation, and promote atherosclerosis. It can also lead to insulin resistance, increasing the risk of type 2 diabetes, a major risk factor for stroke. But it's not all bad news. Diet is also a source of vital protective nutrients. Antioxidants, plentiful in fruits, vegetables, and nuts. They help neutralize free radicals that damage cells and blood vessels. Fiber helps lower cholesterol, stabilize blood sugar, and maintain gut health, which is strongly linked to heart health, and potassium and magnesium. These minerals help balance sodium in the body, relax blood vessel walls, and maintain healthy blood pressure. And this is where cheese comes into the picture. Depending on the type of cheese you choose, it can be a rich source of harmful sodium-saturated fats and additives, or it can be an excellent source of protein, calcium, vitamin B12, selenium, MCTs, and even beneficial probiotics, nutrients essential for protecting your heart and brain. In the following sections, we'll dive deep into specific cheese types. We'll start with those to limit, and then introduce the superstars that can help you live a healthier life. Get ready to change how you look at this favorite food. Now that we've understood the process of blood vessel aging and the risks of nighttime stroke, it's time to face the truth about some of the most common cheeses hidden in our refrigerators. Many of these have become familiar parts of the American diet, but few realize that they might be silently harming our hearts and brains, especially as we enter our golden years. We'll start with the cheese you can find in almost every American household's fridge-processed cheese. You know, those neatly wrapped yellow slices or the gooey stuff that comes in a jar. They're convenient, they melt beautifully, and they've been part of quick lunches and late-night snacks for decades. From sandwich slices to cubed cheese for kids' snacks, or even that smooth cheese sauce for crispy fries. We grew up with them, considering them an indispensable part of American cuisine. But here's the part we often overlook. Processed cheese isn't real cheese. It's more like a science experiment with dairy as the base than a natural product. To truly understand, look at the label. According to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration (FDA) regulations, a product must contain at least 51% actual cheese to be called processed cheese. There are even lower classifications like processed cheese product or processed cheese food, where the proportion of real cheese is even less, supplemented with skim milk, whey vegetable oil, and a host of other additives. Each slice of processed cheese can contain over 300 milligrams of sodium. That's just one slice. Stack a couple on a sandwich, and suddenly you've consumed a third of your daily recommended salt limit. For someone over 60, that's a big deal. Our blood vessels naturally become less elastic as we age. So when we add too much salt to the mix, our blood pressure rises, and the arteries have to work overtime. The result, a greater chance of hypertension, and in many cases, a higher risk of stroke, especially during the night when blood pressure can spike without warning. But it's not just the salt. Processed cheeses are also full of saturated fats and emulsifiers. These saturated fats contribute to plaque buildup in your arteries. The American Heart Association (AHA) has consistently warned that diets high in saturated fat are closely linked to atherosclerosis, a condition where your arteries narrow and harden, reducing blood flow to the brain. And then there are emulsifiers and phosphates. These are the lesser-known silent enemies. Emulsifiers like sodium phosphate, sodium citrate, or datem diacetyl tartaric acid esters of mono and diglycerides are added to make cheese melt smoothly and prevent separation. However, recent studies are indicating that these substances can disrupt our gut microbiome, leading to chronic inflammation. Inflammation in the gut doesn't just cause digestive issues, it can also affect systemic health, including the cardiovascular system. When your immune system reacts to this inflammation, it can damage blood vessel walls, increasing the risk of plaque formation and atherosclerosis. A study published in the journal Hypertension a few years ago found that older adults with high sodium and saturated fat intake had a 35% higher risk of silent strokes. Those sneaky strokes you don't even feel until later. Damage shows up often in the form of cognitive decline or memory problems. This is a serious warning. So what can you do instead? Start by checking your fridge. If you see a pack of individually wrapped cheese slices, consider replacing them with a more natural option. You don't have to quit cheese entirely, but choosing ones with lower sodium and no artificial additives can protect your heart and brain more than you might realize. Look for cheeses with simpler ingredients. The fewer strange chemicals, the better. A piece of real cheddar, even with portion control, will be much better than that processed cheese product. Now let's move on to another popular cheese that might surprise you with its risks. It's tangy, bold, and often considered a grown-up flavor, something many develop a taste for later in life. But while the complex flavor can be tempting, especially on salads or with crackers, blue cheese comes with hidden dangers that many over 60 should be aware of. Blue cheese stands out with its characteristic blue or green veins, created by specific penicillium molds, most commonly Penicillium roqueforti and Penicillium glaucum. These molds not only deliver the strong distinctive flavor, but also produce a natural compound called tyramine. Tyramine is a naturally occurring compound found in aged or fermented foods, including aged cheeses, cured meats, and some alcoholic beverages. Tyramine is known to interact with blood pressure. When consumed, tyramine can cause the release of a neurotransmitter called norepinephrine or noradrenaline, a stress hormone that constricts blood vessels and increases heart rate, leading to a rise in blood pressure. For those with sensitive vascular systems, or who are on certain medications like MAO inhibitors, often prescribed for depression or Parkinson's disease, tyramine can cause dangerous spikes in blood pressure. MAO inhibitors work by blocking the monoamine oxidase enzyme, which normally breaks down tyramine. When this enzyme is inhibited, tyramine can build up in the body and cause a severe hypertensive reaction known as a hypertensive crisis. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Hypertension showed that individuals over 60 who consumed high tyramine diets were more likely to experience sudden increases in blood pressure, sometimes within hours of eating. Combine that with already weakened or narrowed arteries, and you've got a recipe for what doctors call a hypertensive crisis, a medical emergency that can lead directly to stroke or heart attack. Symptoms of a hypertensive crisis include severe headache, blurred vision, chest pain, shortness of breath, and dizziness. These are signs that you need to seek immediate medical attention. On top of that, blue cheese is relatively high in saturated fat. While not quite as processed as cheese slices, it still contributes to bad cholesterol (LDL) levels when eaten regularly. If you already have a history of high blood pressure or vascular inflammation, the added fat and tyramine can tip the scales in the wrong direction. So does this mean you can never enjoy blue cheese again? Not necessarily. However, moderation is key. And for many, especially if you're noticing blood pressure creeping up, or if you're on medication, it might be safest to skip it altogether. Instead of reaching for that blue-veined wedge for your salad or cheese board, think twice. There are better, gentler options for your blood vessels, and we'll get to those soon. Our goal is to enjoy flavor without compromising our health. But first, there's another creamy favorite we need to talk about. It's smooth, rich, and practically a breakfast staple for millions, especially spread thick on a warm bagel. That's cream cheese. If you're over 60 and reaching for cream cheese every morning, it's time to pause and consider what it might be doing to your heart and arteries. Cream cheese, with its smooth texture and rich flavor, has become a familiar part of breakfasts and desserts. From cream cheese slathered bagels to rich cheesecakes or special creamy sauces. However, unlike harder cheeses, cream cheese contains very little protein and almost no calcium. Instead, it's mostly made up of saturated fat. Just 2 tablespoons, that's about the amount you'd spread on 1/2 of a bagel, can contain over 9 grams of fat, the majority of which is saturated. And here's the issue. When your diet is high in saturated fat and low in beneficial nutrients like calcium or protein, your LDL cholesterol, also known as the bad kind, can start to climb. Research from the National Institutes of Health shows that elevated LDL cholesterol in older adults is a major predictor of atherosclerosis, which means fatty deposits begin lining your arteries. And when those arteries are in your brain or around your heart, it puts you at direct risk for stroke or heart disease. Even worse, because cream cheese is often eaten with refined carbs like white bread or bagels, it causes a spike in blood sugar followed by a dip, which can make you feel tired, foggy, or even dizzy. That foggy-headed feeling after breakfast, it might be more than just a bad night's sleep. When you consume a large amount of refined carbs and saturated fat without enough fiber or protein to slow down absorption, your body has to work harder to process that sugar and fat. The sudden ups and downs in blood sugar don't just make you tired, They can also cause acute inflammation in your blood vessels and contribute to insulin resistance over time. Insulin resistance increases the risk of developing type 2 diabetes, one of the leading risk factors for heart disease and stroke. Now I get it. Letting go of a favorite comfort food isn't easy. But you don't have to say goodbye forever. Instead, try swapping in a lighter protein-rich spread like whipped cottage cheese or even ricotta with some herbs. You'll still get the creamy texture, but with a lot more nutritional support for your brain and circulation. All right, we've got one more cheese to be cautious about, especially if you like things all American. Let's talk about that next. That's American cheese. American cheese. The bright yellow slices that melt perfectly on burgers, grilled sandwiches, and even scrambled eggs. It's practically a symbol of comfort food in the US. Developed in the early 20th century for mass production, easy transport, and consistent melting, American cheese quickly became a staple in family meals and fast food restaurants across the country. But if you're over 60, this familiar favorite might be doing more harm than good to your blood vessels. First, let's be clear. American cheese isn't really cheese in the traditional sense. It's what's called a processed cheese product, made from a mix of milk, whey emulsifiers, food colorings, preservatives, and yes, a little bit of real cheese. The result, something that tastes creamy and melts beautifully, but offers very little nutritional value. One slice of American cheese can contain up to 400 milligrams of sodium and nearly 5 grams of saturated fat. This is significantly higher than many natural cheeses and can easily push you over your daily recommended sodium limit, straining your cardiovascular system. But what's even more concerning are the synthetic additives. Some of these, like phosphates, sodium phosphate, potassium phosphate, and emulsifiers, have been linked to inflammation in the blood vessels. Over time, this can weaken the arterial walls. For older adults, that means a higher chance of developing vascular issues that can lead to cognitive decline or stroke. The phosphates added to processed cheese are not always absorbed and metabolized, as well as naturally occurring phosphates in whole foods. When consumed in excess, inorganic phosphates can raise blood phosphate levels, causing mineral imbalances, and even leading to calcium deposits in arteries and kidneys. This contributes to arterial stiffening and increases the risk of cardiovascular disease. A recent review published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition pointed out that people who consumed more processed cheese had a significantly higher risk of cardiovascular disease compared to those who chose natural cheeses. The reason it's not just about fat or salt, it's about how these artificial compounds affect your entire vascular system, causing inflammation, oxidative stress, and the endothelial dysfunction we discussed. So if you're using American cheese daily, especially in sandwiches or melted on top of meals, it might be time to reconsider. Instead, opt for a slice of fresh mozzarella or even goat cheese. These alternatives not only offer more nutrition, but also support brain function and circulation without the chemical overload. And speaking of better options, it's time we shift gears to the good news. 4 cheeses that can actually help protect your health, nourish your body, and even reduce your risk of stroke. We've discussed the cheeses to limit, but now it's time to shift to the brighter side. Let's explore 4 cheeses that can actually help protect your health, nourish your body, and even reduce your risk of stroke. These are smart choices, not just delicious, but powerful allies for your heart and brain after 60. Let's start with one that's creamy, light, and full of benefits for your muscles and blood pressure. Ricotta cheese. The gentle friend of muscles and blood pressure. Ricotta is a soft, mild cheese that doesn't just taste good, but actually works with your body to support better health after 60. Unlike the processed cheeses we just covered, ricotta is made by reusing the whey left behind during cheese production. Why is that important? Because whey is loaded with high-quality protein that your body absorbs easily. This is especially important as we get older and begin to lose muscle mass more quickly, a condition called sarcopenia. Sarcopenia doesn't just make us weaker and more prone to falls, but also impacts overall metabolism, increasing the risk of chronic diseases. Just half a cup of ricotta delivers around 14 grams of protein, including a rich supply of essential amino acids that help with muscle repair and building. The whey protein in ricotta is a complete protein source, meaning it contains all 9 essential amino acids your body can't produce on its own. Specifically, it's rich in leucine, a branched-chain amino acid BCAA critical for stimulating muscle protein synthesis. Maintaining muscle mass and strength not only helps you maintain balance and mobility, reducing your risk of falls, a common cause of serious injury in older adults, but also positively impacts cardiovascular health. Healthy muscles support healthier metabolism, helping your body utilize glucose more efficiently, and reducing the burden on your circulatory system. Another perk of ricotta. It's naturally low in sodium, often just about 50 milligrams per serving. That means you get all the flavor and texture without pushing your daily salt intake over the edge. And let's not forget the calcium. Ricotta is rich in this essential mineral, which not only supports bones, but helps regulate the contraction and relaxation of your blood vessels. Think of it as a gentle buffer against blood pressure spikes. Calcium plays a crucial role in maintaining the normal function of vascular smooth muscle cells, helping them respond flexibly to blood pressure regulating signals, thereby helping to keep blood pressure at stable levels. How do you add ricotta to your daily diet? Try a scoop of ricotta on whole grain toast, adding some fresh fruit like berries and a drizzle of honey for a nutritious breakfast. Mix ricotta into your scrambled eggs or omelets for added creaminess and protein. Blend ricotta with fresh herbs like basil, parsley, a squeeze of lemon juice and black pepper for a heart-healthy spread. Combine ricotta with a little lemon zest, vanilla, and fresh berries for a healthy dessert. Ricotta is also a great ingredient in healthy lasagna savory tarts, or as a filling for stuffed chicken or fish. You'll be feeding your body and protecting your brain without giving up taste. Next, we'll move on to a cheese that's light, fresh, and surprisingly powerful for your circulation. Cottage cheese. The underestimated superfood. Cottage cheese, often overlooked, is one of the most nutrient-packed options you can keep in your fridge, especially if you're over 60. Its mild flavor and creamy texture make it incredibly versatile, but it's what's inside that makes it truly special for your heart and brain. Cottage cheese is rich in casein, a slow-digesting protein that helps your body stay full longer and stabilizes blood sugar. Why does that matter for your blood vessels? Because steady blood sugar means less strain on your circulatory system, reducing inflammation and oxidative stress that can age your arteries prematurely. When your blood sugar fluctuates wildly, it can damage the endothelial lining of your blood vessels, leading to inflammation and increasing the risk of plaque development. Casein helps prevent these sudden blood sugar spikes, protecting your blood vessels from harm. What's more, a single cup of low-fat cottage cheese can give you about 28 grams of protein with only a modest amount of fat. And unlike many processed cheeses, it also contains significant levels of vitamin B12 and selenium. Vitamin B12 is crucial for brain function and vascular health. B12 helps maintain healthy red blood cells and nerve function, and also plays a role in metabolizing homocysteine. Homocysteine is an amino acid that, when present in high levels in the blood, is considered an independent risk factor for heart disease and stroke due to its ability to damage blood vessel walls. Selenium acts as a powerful antioxidant, shielding your blood vessels from damage caused by free radicals. Free radicals are unstable molecules that can cause oxidative stress, leading to cellular damage and inflammation. In fact, a 2020 study in Nutrients found that older adults with higher intakes of selenium had better endothelial function. That's the health of the thin layer of cells lining your blood vessels. When your endothelium works well, your arteries stay more flexible, allowing blood to flow smoothly and reducing stroke risk. Cottage cheese is also low in sodium if you choose the right version. Always look for low sodium or no salt added labels at the store, especially if you're watching your blood pressure. One of the easiest ways to enjoy it. Add a spoonful to a bowl of fresh berries and a sprinkle of ground flaxseed for a satisfying breakfast. Or mix it with sliced cucumber and olive oil as a savory snack. Use whipped cottage cheese as a substitute for sour cream in recipes, or as a topping for baked potatoes. A spoonful of cottage cheese can boost the protein content of your morning smoothie. Now let's turn to a cheese that's easy to digest and might just surprise you with its brain-boosting power. Goat cheese chèvre, brain fuel and digestive aid. Goat cheese, or chèvre, is a creamy, slightly tangy option that's not just easier to digest, but also surprisingly good for your brain and energy levels. As we age, digestion becomes more sensitive, and the foods we once handled easily can start causing issues. That's where goat cheese really shines. First, it contains less lactose than cow's milk cheese, making it gentler on your stomach if you're lactose intolerant or have mild dairy sensitivity. That alone can help reduce bloating, which in turn helps ease pressure on your gut and vascular system. This difference lies in the protein structure of goat's milk, specifically the alpha S1 casein type, which is generally less allergenic than cow's milk. But the real secret to goat cheese lies in its fat content, specifically medium-chain triglycerides or MCTs. MCTs are a type of fat that your body converts quickly into energy, especially for your brain. Unlike common long-chain fats that require complex digestion and absorption, MCTs are directly absorbed into the liver and rapidly converted into ketone bodies. Ketone bodies are an excellent alternative energy source for the brain, particularly beneficial when glucose sources are insufficient or when the brain has difficulty utilizing glucose. Studies from the Journal of Nutrition show that MCTs can help improve cognitive performance in older adults, particularly those experiencing age-related memory decline. So when you eat goat cheese, you're not just supporting your heart, you're fueling your brain as well. Another plus goat cheese is rich in bioavailable calcium and phosphorus, both of which are vital for keeping your blood vessels strong and responsive. That means better circulation and lower risk of those dangerous blood pressure spikes that can happen overnight. And here's something many people don't know. Goat cheese also contains compounds called oligosaccharides, which act as prebiotics. These feed the good bacteria in your gut. Prebiotics help nourish a healthy gut microbiome, which in turn helps reduce systemic inflammation, a hidden factor behind many strokes and vascular diseases. A balanced and diverse gut microbiome can improve gut barrier function, reduce the entry of inflammatory substances into the bloodstream, and produce beneficial compounds like short-chain fatty acids, SCFAs, that support heart health. If you've never tried it, start small. Crumble a bit of goat cheese over your salad. Spread it on whole grain crackers, or pair it with roasted vegetables. For a unique dessert, combine it with a drizzle of honey and fresh figs. It's creamy, satisfying, and your blood vessels will thank you. Last but definitely not least, let's talk about a cheese that's soft, fresh, and quietly working wonders for your arteries. Fresh mozzarella. Pure goodness for your vessels. When it comes to mozzarella, I'm not talking about the shredded kind in a bag, but the soft white rounds you find in water-packed containers. This cheese isn't just delicious, it's one of the gentlest choices you can make for your heart and blood vessels after 60. Compared to processed or aged cheeses, it contains far less salt, often under 200 milligrams per ounce. That's a big win for anyone watching their blood pressure. And remember, when your blood pressure stays within a healthy range, you dramatically lower your risk of stroke, especially those nighttime episodes that often catch people off guard. But fresh mozzarella isn't just low in sodium, it's also rich in probiotics, those friendly bacteria that support gut health. Why should that matter to your heart? Because new research is showing a powerful connection between gut health and vascular inflammation. A study published in the journal Frontiers in Cardiovascular Medicine revealed that older adults with more diverse gut bacteria had lower levels of arterial stiffness and better overall circulation. The gut microbiome plays a crucial role in regulating immune responses, cholesterol metabolism, and producing beneficial short-chain fatty acids, all of which directly impact cardiovascular health. By including probiotic-rich foods like fresh mozzarella in your diet, you're doing more than just aiding digestion. You're helping to calm systemic inflammation that quietly damages your arteries over time. This cheese also contains calcium and a modest amount of protein, making it a great choice for maintaining muscle tone and bone strength. Two things that play a bigger role in stroke prevention than people often realize. Healthy skeletal muscles support mobility, reduce the risk of falls, and maintain a healthy metabolism, all indirectly benefiting vascular health. Want an easy way to enjoy it? Slice some fresh mozzarella, pair it with ripe tomatoes and a drizzle of olive oil, and you've got a simple caprese salad that's as heart-healthy as it is delicious. Use fresh mozzarella torn into pieces on homemade pizzas with plenty of vegetables. Enjoy a fresh mozzarella slice with a cucumber slice and a hint of fresh mint for a light snack. Or fresh mozzarella melts beautifully into omelets or scrambled eggs. Now that you've met the 4 worst and 4 best cheeses for your health, it's time to tie everything together with a gentle reminder and a little encouragement for the road ahead. Knowing which cheeses are good isn't enough on its own. The important thing is how to easily and deliciously incorporate them into your daily meals. Change doesn't have to be a burden. It's an opportunity to discover new flavors and exciting ways to cook. One of the most important skills you can develop to protect your health is the ability to read and understand food labels. Manufacturers often use appealing marketing terms, but the real information lies on the back of the packaging. Become a food detective. Serving size is the first thing you need to notice. All other nutritional figures are based on this serving size. It's easy to be misled by low numbers if you eat more than one serving. Sodium is a key factor in raising blood pressure. Look for products with low sodium content, meaning under 140 milliliters per serving. Saturated fat is the type of fat that raises bad LDL cholesterol. Try to keep your saturated fat intake under 5 to 6% of your total daily calories. Total fat, while not all fats are bad, you still need to control the overall fat intake. The ingredients list is where the bare truth about the product is revealed. Ingredients are listed in descending order by quantity. By becoming a knowledgeable food label reader, you empower yourself to make better choices, not just with cheese, but with everything you buy. Knowing which cheeses are good isn't enough on its own. The important thing is how to easily and deliciously incorporate them into your daily meals. Change doesn't have to be a burden. It's an opportunity to discover new flavors and exciting ways to cook. Make smart swaps. Instead of a slice of American cheese in a sandwich, try a slice of fresh mozzarella or a dollop of soft goat cheese. Instead of cream cheese on a bagel, try spreading a layer of whipped ricotta or cottage cheese. Instead of processed cheese sauce for pasta, try making a sauce from ricotta or fresh Parmesan in moderation due to sodium content. Control portion sizes. Even the best cheeses still contain calories and fat. The goal is a small to moderate serving, about 1 to 2 ounces, 28 to 56 grams per meal, depending on the type of cheese and your caloric needs. Treat cheese as a nutritious side dish, not the main course. Pair with fiber-rich foods. Always combine cheese with vegetables, fruits, or whole grains. Fiber helps slow down digestion, stabilize blood sugar, and enhance gut health, further supporting cardiovascular health. Cardiovascular and brain health don't just come from what you eat, but also from how you live. Choosing smart cheeses is a great start, but let's consider other pillars of a healthy lifestyle. Hydration. Staying well hydrated helps maintain healthy blood volume. Regular physical activity strengthens the heart muscle, improves circulation, lowers blood pressure, and helps the body use insulin more efficiently. Effective stress management helps your body avoid releasing harmful hormones. Quality sleep is when your body repairs and restores itself. Finally, and most importantly, have regular doctor visits and follow medical advice. Make sure you regularly check your blood pressure, cholesterol levels, blood sugar, and other health indicators. If you are taking medication for any condition, strictly follow your doctor's instructions and never adjust your dosage or stop medication without medical consultation. Remember, the advice in this video is for general informational purposes and cannot replace professional medical advice. Always consult your doctor or a registered dietitian for a health plan tailored to your individual needs. By adopting these strategies into your daily life, you not only reduce your risk of stroke and heart disease, but also improve your overall quality of life, feeling more energized and mentally sharper every day. Now that you've met the 4 worst and 4 best cheeses for your health, it's time to tie everything together with a gentle reminder and a little encouragement for the road ahead. The core message I want you to take away from this video is, you don't have to give up cheese to protect your heart. You just have to choose the right kind. This isn't about restriction or a harsh diet. It's about becoming a conscious consumer, understanding what you're putting into your body and its impact. Remember, processed cheeses. American cheese, cream cheese, and blue cheese may offer convenience or bold flavors, but they're often packed with sodium-saturated fats and additives that can cause inflammation, stiffen arteries, and increase stroke risk, especially during the hours you're fast asleep. In contrast, cheeses like ricotta, cottage cheese, goat cheese, and fresh mozzarella are true nutritional powerhouses. They provide high-quality protein to nourish muscles, calcium for strong bones and blood vessels, probiotics and prebiotics for a healthy gut, which is closely linked to heart health, and even MCTs to fuel your brain. Moreover, they contain significantly less sodium, helping to maintain stable blood pressure. A small change like swapping out a slice of processed cheese for a spoonful of ricotta or cottage cheese can make a real difference. These choices support your blood vessels, steady your blood pressure, and give your brain the nourishment it needs to stay sharp. The journey to good health is a marathon, and after 60, every bite matters a little more. But the beauty is, you're still in control. You can enjoy foods you love and still care for your health. It doesn't have to be a choice between living a full life and living healthily. We can have both. Every mindful choice, no matter how small, is a step forward. It might be taking a few extra minutes to read a nutrition label at the grocery store, choosing a different cheese for your lunchtime sandwich, or simply pairing your favorite cheese with more green vegetables. These changes may seem insignificant day to day, but over time they accumulate into an incredible impact on your health and longevity. Think back to Mr. Arthur's story we mentioned at the beginning of the video. If he had known this information sooner, if he had changed the type of cheese he ate, perhaps those dizzy spells and foggy-headed feelings wouldn't have appeared. The power is in your hands, right in your own kitchen. We believe that knowledge becomes even more powerful when shared and discussed. So if you've found a cheese you'd like to try, or one you'll think twice about now, drop a comment below. Let's support each other on this journey. Your experiences and questions can be a source of inspiration and motivation for others. And if you'd like tips on how to pair these heart-friendly cheeses with other healthy foods, just let us know in the comments section. We are always listening to your ideas to create useful content in the future. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more simple science-backed ways to stay strong, sharp, and thriving after 60. We're in this together to learn to share and to build a healthier future. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video from Health.